Well, hello again to all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. John and Ellie back at you with another beer review. And today I am looking at Schlitz High Gravity Malt Liquor, the Gold Bull. This was introduced in 2005. It's 8.5% alcohol and it is a Pabst brand. They did change the label within the last few years. It used to say VSL on the label, very smooth lager, which it no longer does. I do like the updated can design, though. I like the bricks in the background there. And then you've always had the bull. Um, it hasn't changed over the years. I had this in the freezer for at least 45 minutes, which I've said before. I recommend you do that with all all malt liquors in general, but especially your high gravity malt liquors. Let's go ahead and give this thing a pour and see what we've got. And it is really ice cold. The can is numbing the ends of my fingers. All right. Poured pretty nicely. As you can see, there's a lot of streaming bubbles going up the glass there. Looks pretty nicely carbonated for a high gravity malt liquor, especially. Sometimes the higher gravity malt liquors don't have as much carbonation, but this is one of the ones that I find has really great carbonation, and as you can see, it definitely is highly carbonated. So, on the aroma, sweet, malty, some grain, nothing off, clean water. I mean, just a very straightforward malt liquor aroma. I don't really smell any alcohol. That 8.5% alcohol is not really coming through on the aroma. All right, so a very clean, good smelling beer. Let's get into this thing. Cheers, guys. Nice and cold. All right. Get some barley malt up front. It does have a nice bready component in the middle of the sip, which is nice. It's not cloyingly sweet at all, especially at this ice cold temperature. As this warms, it might start developing some unpleasant qualities, so drink it ice cold. That's what they want you to do. That's how the brewer intended it to be consumed, so why would you drink it at any other temperature than ice cold? Um, so bready, nice and malty. It finishes pretty crisp with that heavy carbonation. Not really getting any hop bite at the end, although I'm sure there are um, the hops are a little bit elevated, maybe closer to 20, just to balance out some of the malty sweetness that you get from the higher ABV, and because it's it's malt liquor, so it's a malt forward beer, and the higher ABV as well, it gives it a really sweet component to it. So you got to bump up the IBUs a little bit to balance that out. Otherwise, you would have some cloyingly sweet qualities, but you definitely don't with this one. It's very enjoyable. It's a pretty dry finish as well. I don't know if I mentioned that already, but yeah, a dry finish, which for high gravity malt liquor is not always the case. I mean, it's not super dry like your light beer. It's not going to be as dry as a light beer on the finish. So it's not going to be as refreshing as a light beer in that sense, but it is much higher ABV. It is a lot more flavorful than light beer and even traditional, adjunct lagers with that fall within that 4.5 to 5.5 ABV range. This just has a lot more um, barley malt sweetness, some indistinguishable grain, and kind of in the middle of the sip that goes nicely along with that nice bread crust type note that you get, and then the refreshing finish, ice cold. So get one more sip, give you guys a rating, and see what we think about this beer here. this malt liquor. All right, well, it's an excellent high gravity malt liquor for sure. This is one of my favorite high gravity malt liquors, if not my favorite. I can't think of one right now that I like better than the Schlitz Gold Bull. There are other ones that are close, but this one, it may very well be my favorite. It's definitely a solid A. For high gravity malt liquor, it's a 97, 98 out of 100 easily. Overall, I'm going to give it a 96 because it's just above a solid A, getting up there closer to world class for the high gravity malt liquor range. So 96 out of 100, an excellent, excellent product. If you like malt liquor, try this. You'll enjoy it. If you like, even if you don't tend to gravitate towards higher gravity, the high gravity malt liquor, I think that this one would be enjoyable for people that don't necessarily like high gravity malt liquors. Just because it is so well balanced, it's so smooth when you drink it ice cold, and it's just really got a lot going for it. It doesn't have those cloyingly sweet, uh, sometimes undesirable flavors that malt liquors have been known to have. This is just so fine. Such a great product. So 96 out of 100, that'll do it for this malt liquor review. And until next time, everybody, cheers.